right, thanks, Jimmy. And remember, guys, Kurt Busch didn't even qualify for this race in November.
And yet here he is leading it. You saw Tony Stewart just take over third from Matt Kenseth.
You know what I like about that? He doesn't have any bad habits. The habits he's got right now are the ones I'd want to have. Right. Out front and pulling away.
They came down here and tested a couple of weeks ago, and all they worked on for 2 days was long race runs. It's paying off right now.
Sure is.
30 lead changes among 7 drivers. The record for this race, 33 lead changes way back in 1976.
NASCAR Winston Cup Series on Fox, presented by Home Depot, is brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. By Ford, no boundaries. By Pepsi Cola, experience the joy of Pepsi. And by the Home Depot, NASCAR's home improvement warehouse.
72 laps to go. Kurt Busch the leader, Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth. If we stay green all the way, there will be one more pit stop. Let's have a look at 15th place Rusty Wallace.
He's not happy. His car's nervous and jumping around, and he's trying to get under Nadeau here, and it cost him actually. Whoa, baby!
Those gloves inside pretty much tell the story.
Baby! Like I said, his car's nervous. Now he's mad.
So there's Wallace, currently 13th. A lot of the over 40 crowd. Sterling Marlin, Terry Labonte right there as well. And
yeah, they're kind of at the top of the second 10.
And our pole sitter, Bill Elliott, who has not led this race. Ryan Newman took the first lap from him and didn't look back. Elliott currently is in 18th. He's the last car on the lead lap, back there with Kyle Petty and Ricky Rudd. Dick Berggren?
Bill's had a couple of problems, one right after another, Mike. The first problem was that he lost a wheel weight. That caused a vibration, cost him some spots, but more importantly, it causes a driver not to have a good feel of the race car. Now, after the adjustments on the last pit stop, Elliott is loose. Very, very loose and just trying to hang on until the next pit round.
A lot of smoke up in turn 4, and a car darting onto pit road is Harvick. But there was a lot of smoke there as he went off into turn 3.
Boy,
and he's in the garage.
Looked like a lot of fluid into that high groove getting in that corner, but everybody seems to be getting through okay. Tony Stewart maybe pushed up more than anybody right there.
Darrell, we've talked about it a lot today. We're in that last 100 miles.
There's the 22 and the 32. There's fluid in that turn, guys. 22 almost hit the wall.
And now caution is out.
Yeah, there's fluid up there. I mean, that car, yeah, there's another car almost in the wall, the 77. Turn 3 down there. Is that going into 3 about middle ways up? I saw a lot of fluid come out of his car, and I'm thinking there's probably quite a bit of fluid in that turn.
Damage to the right side of John Andretti's car. He may have gotten a bit of the wall up there, Darrell. I don't know if he had that previously on the right side. But we're under caution again.
And here we are again. We're just fixing to talk about we're getting to that last 100 miles of this race. In fact, the 29 car thought they had a problem yesterday, really debated about changing that motor, and now here in the last 100, 150 miles, we're starting to see a lot of cars make that left-hand turn into the garage area.
Like I told you from the very get-go when we got here, Larry, this is a 500-mile race. I hate to keep hammering on that, but this is a real test for everybody. Engines, cars, drivers. It's a long afternoon here, guys. 4 hours, pretty close to it.
5th caution flag of the day. Now we have 67 laps to go right now. So Larry, could this be the final pit stop?
It very well could be. Again, we're going to have probably about 62 or 63 laps to go. DW, you got to trust me, my friend. Trust me. But when you leave that pit box, I want you to save me a little bit of fuel till we go green flag racing.
Just don't tell me I can't make it.
You can see my notes.
If you just tell me how far I got to go, I'll make it.
We can make it if you just save me a little fuel here under caution.
I got to run good enough. I don't want to, don't want to slow down so much it doesn't do me any good, but I can make it.
Pit road's open. Here they come.
Yes, it will. Everybody for 4 tires and lots of fuel. Jeannie Zelasco.
And here comes the 17 of Matt Kenseth, who was just told on his birthday that they might come up 2 laps short on fuel. So he is conserving as much as he can coming in. Don't want to mess with the car too much. He said it was just a little loose off the corner, but he doesn't want to risk tightening it up, so he's just going to get 4 new tires and see how far he can go from here. Steve?
Well, Jeannie, Kurt Busch told Jimmy Fennick, I want this car just a little bit tighter. They're going to put about a half a pound in that right front tire. Let's go to Matt Yocum.
And Tony Stewart in for 4
short tires. They went back to their original settings. The Stewart is going to try to race the 17 off pit road. They did not like, remember he made that air pressure adjustment to the right front. He didn't like it. They put it back to Dick.
Well, Earnhardt Jr. just got beaten off pit road again. No real problem with the stop. They just plain got beat. They've been having good stops all day. It's just that other people have been a little faster.
Other people being Matt Kenseth and there, Newman and Earnhardt Jr. discuss who got out of the pits first.
Just having a slight disagreement. I think Ryan wanted to be in front, and I think Dale Jr. is saying, now what's that all about, rookie?
And if they stay side by side, the NASCAR officials will review the line at the exit of the pits and put them in the proper order.
And they may review the passing procedure.
They have a camera down there, and
they may still, they're not done talking yet, guys. It's called the car talk here. Push me, yeah, well, push me again. Look at that, got a Goodyear right on the door right there.
Little donut as they came off the pit lane. Cosmetic damage.
End of the day, getting close to the end. Tempers get a little short. Guys get a little tired. Let's see what happened down here, Larry. Here they come. Junior just runs right him up. Hey, he just didn't like him running him up the racetrack like that.
And at the line, exiting the pits, Kenseth beating Tony Stewart. Yada, yada, yada.
Jimmy Johnson, the 48. Kurt Busch in the 97. Should be coming here this time.
Here they come. Here they come.
Dale
DJ,
Jarrett,
Craven, Ward Burton, and Junior.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah.
Well, turn that cap around.
The camera tells the tale.
260 laps are complete. 65 to go in Atlanta. This is NASCAR on Fox.
Just over 60 laps to go in Atlanta. Matt Kenseth on his 30th birthday leading 30-year-old Tony Stewart. Let's look at how it started. Bill Elliott, last pole sitter to actually win a race. That was last year at Homestead on the pole here. But Ryan Newman leading early and led for 15 laps in the race. Kurt Busch led for more than 50 laps. Tony Stewart led for over 100 laps. And there were problems for Bobby Labonte. Dale Earnhardt Jr. also leading. Labonte having trouble here, avoiding activity, whipping around, hitting the wall. Later, engine failure causing problems. And then Dick Trickle at age 60 hitting the wall. Going to the care unit later was okay. Matt Kenseth out battling Kurt Busch, and the young guns putting on a show here. As so far, they have been going at each other throughout the race as we come to you from the Hollywood Hotel. Last year at the Cracker Barrel Old Country Store 500, we had a terrific finish. Remember one of the young guns then, Kevin Harvick edging out Jeff Gordon. Who knows what we'll see over the final stretch here. Jimmy Johnson also among those battling for the lead here.
Outstanding run right now. Outstanding run by Jimmy Johnson for Hendrick Motorsports. Cannot believe how smooth this young man right here is. Undoubtedly, when he sits down at night and talks to his owner, which is Jeff Gordon, along with Rick Hendrick, he must be really taking it all in because he's doing such a great job. Checking.
Why didn't you pick him? Why didn't you pick him?
Hey, I'm not done here now. Just you be nice up there, Darryl. I believe the kid's got a lot of talent. Like I said before, I really felt like Dale Earnhardt Jr. was going to get the job done today. But hey, these cats are putting on quite a show, especially Matt Kenseth.
By the way, Jimmy Johnson selected one of People Magazine's sexiest men in the fast lane. Okay, Jeff Hammond was not up for that. He was not eligible. Two of the last three Atlanta Winston Cup races have seen first-time winners. Of course, Harvick and Nadeau, and the Hollywood Hotel is rocking. And so will the finish of this race in Atlanta, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We're in the Deep South.
Welcome back to NASCAR on Fox, coverage of the MBNA America 500. We're going to go green next time by. Give you a look at where the Koch family of drivers is running as several cars come in and top off the tanks. Tony Stewart up to second. Dale Jarrett fifth. Pole sitter Bill Elliott. Kyle Petty and Jeff Burton all in the top 20. And Steve Park, who will return next week, rounding out that group. Jeff Gordon came in a lap ago with Terry Labonte to top off. And here's another group for a last splash of gas, Dick Berggren.
Well, for entertainment value, there is no crew better to listen to than Tony Eury and his driver Dale Earnhardt Jr. Just after that last round of pit stops, Eury came on the radio and said, "Save gas." There was a brief pause, and Earnhardt came on the radio and said, "Oh no, not again." Now I've got the weight of the world on my shoulders. Can anybody else make it? Yuri said, no, just you. Hit the switch for the extra tank. Jeannie's Alaska.
Oh, yes, that's what Matt Kenseth is searching for right now, I believe, in the glove box, Dick, because he was just told, look, you're going to run out of gas coming out of turn 4 on the final lap, but we're working on it. Matt?
Jeannie, an update on the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. I spoke with his crew chief, Chad Canals. Chad tells me they are probably 4 laps shy of making it the distance on this run. Meanwhile, the other 3 Hendrick cars topped off as we go green.
Matt Kenseth leads them around. Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch, Dale Jarrett.
Now, a veteran, a guy got a little experience, he could probably stretch that 2 or 3 laps for him. But a rookie, he don't know but one thing.
Wide open.
Put her to the firewall, and if it doesn't make it, that's y'all's problem.
And that's how you would save throttle here. Save fuel here, Darrell. You would roll out the throttle a little early, let that car roll a little longer, pick it up just a little later. Just a little bit in each end, but you have to do it for a number of laps. You can't start doing it all at one time.
When you're coming down here and you're right up behind somebody like Dale Jarrett is, right up behind the Kurt Busch, just feather up out of it. That draft will suck you along, and you're saving fuel all at the same time.
But one thing you always told me, Darrell Walker, the best way to outrun somebody on fuel is have what?
Have more than they do.
Exactly right, man. You got to be working on that all the time, and you got to know how much you've got. You got to get it all too, though. That's the key. You got to pick up everything in the tank. You're supposed to hold 22 gallons, but the key is getting all that 22 gallons out of that fuel cell.
Matt Kenseth, 30 years old today. Tony Stewart, 30 years old. Where do they fit on your list, Darrell? Young guns or veterans?
Oh, I don't know. 30 years old is getting, it's kind of getting into the senior citizen category now. Look at Jeff Gordon.
Okay.
He's 30.
Fair enough.
One thing we do need to document, Ricky Rudd in the 28 car, he started in 37th. He had just hung on the lead lap all day long, just barely hanging on this last caution. They pitted out of the box. 1 lap penalty. Now he's back in 24th, 1 lap down.
Yeah, he'd been really fortunate to be able to stay on the lead lap. So many times he was right on the verge of being lapped, but lost it all right there.
5 cars have fallen out of this race. 1, Dick Trickle, due to a crash. He is okay. 4 cars, though, have had engine trouble and gone to the garage. Still 56 laps to go, not quite 100 miles.
When we talk about saving fuel and all those other things, you got to also, one of the things that you don't want to do on a super speedway like this, Atlanta, you want to let the car coast. Let it coast down into the corner. And if you're going to brake, you don't need to be using that left foot. You need to be using that right foot. Because see, look at him. He's got the gas down and the brake on all at the same time. That will not save fuel. Now, I used to be a left foot braker. And I told Junior one time, he said, you brake that left foot, boy? And I said, I sure do. He said, well, you got to quit doing it. I said, I can't. That's the only way I know how to drive. Came in the track the next day, and Junior put a big piece of plywood right in between them 2 pedals right there. He said, here, boy, see if you can drive that car now.
And you know, Darrell, what I don't like to see about using brake at a place like this, we've talked about everybody pushing, not turning. The more brake you use, the more heat it builds in those front tires. Heat builds air pressure. More air pressure in the front tires, car's going to push worse.
Push worse. And you saw that very clearly. He has a little bit of brake and a whole lot of gas.
Kevin Harvick, last year's winner in an emotional victory. This year, he's out of the race. He's with Steve Burns.
Thanks, Mike. Kevin, what happened to Goodwrench Chevy to put you in the garage?
Something broke in the motor. It just let loose, no signs or anything, and really just kind of sucks, to tell you the truth. We just haven't got it all together here. We left the lug nut off. We got one official in the pits that's enforcing them. Some weeks they do, some weeks they don't, but that's just the way it goes. And we broke.
Kevin, in happy hour, you said you were debating whether or not to change the motor.